Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Wednesday, October 12th, 2022, after 3 p.m. Eastern. We'll be having a time for change call tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern. Your actual self is not a separate and lonely part of this world. But the real you is the world itself. Everything that there is, expressing itself as this particular organism. We are all heats on and rays of the same sun. Alan is and let the winds of dance be. Love one another, make not a bond of love. Let it rather be a moving sea between the shores of your souls. If your togetherness is not out of lust, your love is going to deepen every day. Lust lessens everything, because biology is not interested in whether you remain together or not. Its interest is reproduction. For that, love is not needed. You can go on producing children without any love. And you may have taken time in this lifetime observing all kinds of animals. I've lived in the forest, in the mountains, and I was always puzzled. Whenever they are making love, they look very sad. I have never seen animals making love joyfully. It is as if some unknown force is pressuring them to do it. It is not out of their own, it is not their freedom, but their that makes them sad. Observed in seeing a husband and wife, you may know whether they are husband or not, but if they are sad, you can, they are. So it doesn't matter on this planet anywhere. If you drive along, there's and a couple came, a beautiful woman and a young, beautiful man. Both could not be accommodated in that small space. So he left the woman and went into another compartment. But he was coming at every station bringing sweets, fruits, and flowers. So this guy, this is when I was traveling by train in Europe. This guy, he couldn't get in a space with her. So every station we would stop, he would be there and he would have gifts for her. I kid you not. I was watching the whole scene, so I asked the woman, "How long have you been married?" She said, "Must have been 7 years." And I said, "Don't lie to me. You are not married." She was shocked from a stranger who had not spoken, who'd simply been watching. And she said, "How did you come to know?" They said, "There's nothing in it. It is simple. If he were your husband, then once he had disappeared, if he had come back at the station where you were going to get off, you would be fortunate." She said, "You don't know me. I don't know you. But what you are saying is right. He's my lover. He's my husband's friend. I said, then everything makes sense. What goes wrong between husbands and wives? It is not love, and everybody has accepted it as if he knows what love is. It is pure lust. Soon you are fed up with each other. Biology has tricked you for reproduction, and soon there is nothing new. Same face, same geography, same topography. How many times have you explored it? This whole world is sad because of marriage, and the world still remains unaware of the cause. Love is one of the most mysterious phenomena. About that love, you cannot be bored because it is not lust. Let there be spaces in your togetherness. Be together, but do not try to dominate. Do not try to possess, and do not destroy the individuality of the other. When you live together, let there be spaces. The husband comes home late. There's no need, no necessity for the wife to inquire where he has been, why he's late. He has his own space. He's a free individual. Two free individuals are living together, and nobody encroaches on each other's spaces. If the wife comes late, there is no need to ask, where have you been? Who are you? She has her own space, her own freedom. But this is happening every day in every home. Over small matters, they are fighting. But keep down the point is that they are not ready to allow the other to have his or her own space. Likings are different. Your husband may like something, you may not like it. That does not mean that it is the beginning of a fight. That because you are husband and wife, your likings should also be the same. And all these questions, every husband returning home goes on in his mind. What is she going to ask? How am I going to answer? And the woman knows what she's going to ask and what he's going to answer. And all those answers are fake, fictitious. He's cheating her. What kind of love is this? That is always suspicious, always afraid of jealousies. If the wife, sees you with some other woman, just laughing, talking, that's enough to destroy your whole night. You'll repent. This is too much just for a little laughter. If the husband sees the wife with another man, and she seems to be more joyous, more happy, this is enough to create turmoil. People are unaware that they don't know what love is. Love never suspects. Love is never jealous. Love never interferes in the other's freedom. Love never imposes on the other. Love gives freedom, and the freedom is possible only if there is space in your togetherness. Now, Khalil Gibran, his insight, tremendous insight. Love should be happy to see that his woman is happy with someone, because love wants his woman to be happy. Love wants the husband to be joyous. If he's just talking to some woman and feels joyous, the wife should be happy. There is no question of quarrel. They are together to make their lives happier. But just the opposite goes on happening. It seems as if wives and husbands are together just to make each other's lives miserable, ruined. Reason is they don't understand even the meaning of love. But let there be spaces in your togetherness. It is not contradictory. The more space you give to each other, the more you are together. The more you allow freedom to each other, the more intimate you are. Not intimate enemies, but intimate friends. You see how that works? We don't really spend much time with this. And let the winds of heaven dance between you. It is a fundamental law of existence that being together too much, leaving no space for freedom, destroys the flower of love. You have crushed it. You have not allowed its space to grow. Scientists have discovered that animals have a territorial imperative. You must have seen dogs urinating on this pillar, on that pillar. You think it is useless. It is not. They are drawing the boundary. This is my territory. The smell of their urine will prevent another dog from entering in. If another dog comes just close to the boundary, the dog whose territory it is will not take any note. But just one step more, and there is going to be a fight. All the animals in the wild do the same. Even a lion. If you don't cross his boundary, he is not going to attack you. You are a gentleman. But if you cross his boundary, then whoever you are, he's going to kill you. We have still to discover human beings' territorial imperative. You must have felt it, but it has not yet been scientifically established. Going on a local train in a city, the train is, in some parts of the world, is so overcrowded. People are all standing. Very few have found seats. But you watch the people who are standing. Although they're very close, they are trying in every way not to touch each other. As this world becomes more overcrowded, more and more people are going insane, committing suicide, murders, for the simple reason that they don't have any space for themselves. At least lovers should be sensitive that the wife needs her own space just as you need your own space. One of the most loved books is by Rabindranath Tagore, Akari Kavita, the last poem. It is not a book of poetry. It is a novel, but a very strange novel, very insightful. Young woman and man fall in love, and as it happens, immediately they want to get married. The woman says, only on one condition. She is very cultured, very sophisticated, very rich. The man says, any condition is acceptable, but I cannot live without you. She said, first listen to the condition, then think it over. It is not an ordinary condition. The condition is that we will not live in the same house. I have a vast land, beautiful lakes surrounded by trees, gardens, and lawns. I will make you a house on one side, just the opposite from where I live. He said, then what is the point of marriage? She said, marriage is not destroying each other. I am giving you your space. I have my own space. Once in a while, walking in the garden, we may meet. Once in a while, boating in the lake, we may meet. Accidentally, or sometimes I can invite you to have tea with me, or you can invite me. The man said, this idea is simply absurd. The woman said, then forget all about marriage. This is the only right idea. Only then can our love go on growing, because we always remain fresh and new. We never take each other for granted. I have every right to refuse your invitation, just as you have every right to refuse my invitation. In no way are our freedoms disturbed. Between these two freedoms grows the beautiful phenomenon of love. Of course, the man could not understand and dropped the idea. But Rabindranath has the same insight as Khalil Gibran, and they were writing at almost the same time. If this is possible to have space and togetherness both, then the winds of heaven dance between you. Love one another, but make not a bond of love. It should be a free gift, given or taken, but there should be no demand. Otherwise, very soon, you are together, but you are as apart as faraway stars. No understanding bridges you. You have not left the space even for the bridge. Let it rather be a moving sea between the shores of your souls. Don't make it something static. Don't make it a routine. Let it rather be a moving sea between the shores of your souls. If freedom and love together can be yours, you don't need anything more. You have got it. That for which life is given to you. The best koan there is love, is relationship. That's how it is being used here. A relationship is a puzzle with no clue to it. However, you can try to manage it. You will never be able to manage it. Nobody has ever been able to manage it. It is made in such a way that it simply remains puzzling. The more you try to demystify it, the more mysterious it becomes. The more you try to understand it, the more elusive it is. It is a greater knowing that any koan that Zen masters give to their disciples, because their koans are meditative. One is alone. When you are given the koan of relationship, it is far more complicated because you are two differently made, differently conditioned, polar opposites to each other, pulling in different directions, manipulating each other, trying to possess, dominate. There are 1,001 problems. While meditating, the only problem is how to be silent, how not to be caught in thoughts. In relationship, there are 1,001 problems. If you are silent, there is a problem. Just sit silently by the side of your wife, and you will see. She will immediately jump upon you. Why are you silent? What do you mean? Or speak, and you will be in trouble. Whatsoever you say, you are always misunderstood. No relationship can ever come to a point where it is not a problem. Or if sometimes you see a relationship coming to a point where it is no longer a problem, that simply means it is not a relationship anymore. The relationship has disappeared. The fighters are tired. They have started accepting things as they are. They are bored. They don't want to fight anymore. They have accepted it. They don't want to improve upon it. Or, in the past, people tried to create a kind of harmony forcibly. That's why, down the ages, women were repressed. That was one way of sorting things out. Just force the woman to follow the man, then there is no problem. But it is not a relationship either. When the woman is no longer an independent person, the problem disappeared. But the woman has also disappeared. There and then, she is just a thing to be used. Then there is no joy. And the man starts looking for some other woman. Have you ever come across a happy marriage? Don't trust it on the surface. Just go a little deeper and you will be surprised. Here's one of them. A hillbilly farmer decided it was time to get married. So he saddled his mule and set off for the city to find a wife. In time, he met a woman and they were married. So they both climbed up on the mule and started back for the farm. After a while, the mule balked and refused to move. The farmer got down, found a big stick, beat the mule until it again began to move. That's once, the farmer said. A few miles later, the mule balked again. The entire scene was repeated. After the beating, when the mule was moving again, the farmer said, that's twice. A few miles later, the mule balked for a third time. Farmer got down, got his wife down, and then took out a pistol, shot the mule in the eye, killing it instantly. That was a stupid thing to do, the wife shouted. That was a valuable animal, and just because he annoyed you, you killed him. That was stupid, criminal. And she went on like this for some time. As she stopped for breath, the farmer said, "That's once." Right? As she stopped for breath, the farmer said, "That's once." And it is said, after that, they lived forever in married happiness. That is the one way of solving things. That's how it has been done in the past. In the future, the reverse is going to be tried. The husband has to follow the wife, but it is the same thing. A relationship is a koan. And unless you have solved a more fundamental thing about yourself, you cannot solve it. The problem of love can be solved only when the problem of meditation has been solved, not before it. Because it is really two non-meditative persons who are creating the problem. Two persons who are in confusion, who don't know who they are. Naturally, they multiply each other's confusion. They magnify. Unless meditation is achieved, love remains a misery. Once you have learned how to live alone, once you have learned how to enjoy your simple existence for no reason at all, then there is a possibility of solving the second, more complicated problem of two persons being together. Only two meditators can live in love. And then love will not be a koan. But then it will not be a relationship either. In the sense that you understand it, it will be simply a state of love, not a state of relationship. So you understand the trouble of relationship. But you encourage people to go into these troubles because these troubles will make you aware of the fundamental problem, that you, deep inside your being, are a riddle. And the other simply is a mirror. It is difficult to know your own troubles directly. It is very easy to know them in a relationship. A mirror can see his face in your mirror. And both are angry because both are ugly faces. And naturally, both about at each other. Because their natural logic is, it is you, this mirror, which is making me look so ugly. Otherwise, I'm such a beautiful person. That's the problem that lovers go on trying to solve and cannot solve. What they are saying again and again is this: I am such a beautiful person, but you make me look so ugly. Nobody is making you look ugly. You are ugly. Sorry, but that's how it is. Be thankful to the other. Be grateful to the other because he helps you to see your face. Don't be angry and go deeper into yourself. Go deeper into meditation. What happens is that whenever a person is in love, he or she forgets all about meditations. You can go on looking around you, and whenever you see a few persons meeting or missing, you kind of figure out what has happened to them. Love has happened to them. Now they don't think that they are needed here. They will come only when love creates much trouble and it becomes impossible for them to solve it. Then they will come and ask what to do. When you are in love, don't forget meditation. Love is not going to solve anything. Love is only going to show you who you are, where you are. And it is good that love makes you alert of the whole confusion and the chaos within you. Now is the time to meditate. If you love and meditation go together, you will have both the wings. You will have a balance. And the opposite also happens. Whenever a person starts moving deep in meditation, he starts avoiding love. Because he thinks if he goes into love, his meditation will be disturbed. That, too, is wrong. Meditation will not be disturbed. Meditation will be helped. Why will it be helped? Because love will go on showing you where there are still problems, where they are. Without love, you will become unconscious of your problems. But becoming unconscious does not mean that you have solved them. If there is no mirror, that does not mean that you don't have any face. Love and meditation should go hand in hand. That is one of the most essential messages that I would like to share with you. Love and meditation should go hand in hand. Love and meditation. Meditate and love. And slowly, 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 you will see a new harmony arising in you. Only that harmony will make you contented. A big question that always arises: how can I know that a woman has fallen in love in reality and not playing games? This is difficult. Nobody has ever been able to know it because, in fact, love is a game. That is, it's reality. So if you're waiting and watching and thinking and analyzing whether this woman who is in love with you is just playing a game or is in reality in love, you will never be able to love any woman, because love is a game. Love is the supreme game. There's no need to ask for it to be real. Play the game. That's its reality. Remember, everything outside of us is an illusion. We create it simply for temporary entertainment. And if you are too much a seeker for reality, then love is not for you. It is a dream. It is a fantasy. It is a fiction. It is romance. It is poetry. If you are too much a seeker after reality, obsessed with reality, then love is not for you. Then meditate. And I know the questioner is not that type. No meditation is possible for him, at least in this life. He has many karmas to fulfill with women. So he continuously thinks about meditation and continuously goes on moving with this woman or that. Now, the woman he moves with, they also come to me and say, is he really in love with us? What to do? And here he comes with a question. But this problem comes to everybody, sometime or other, because there is no way to judge. We are such strangers. We are strangers, and our meeting is just accidental. Just on the road, suddenly we have come across each other, not knowing who we are, not knowing who the other is. Two strangers meeting on a road, feeling alone, hold each other's hands, and think they are in love. They are in a need of the other, certainly, but how to be certain that there is love? Now this is a pretty good light-hearted scenario. A woman arrived in a small Midwestern town late at night, only to find there wasn't a single hotel room available. I'm sorry, said the desk clerk, but the last room we had was just taken by an Italian. What number is it? Said the woman in desperation. Maybe I can work out something with him. The clerk told her the room, and the woman went up and knocked on the door. The Italian let her in. Look, mister, she said, I don't know you, you don't know me, but I need some place to sleep desperately. I won't be any bother, I promise, if you just let me use that little couch over there. The Italian thought for a minute and then said, okay. The woman curled up on the couch, and the Italian went back to bed. But the couch was very uncomfortable, and after a few minutes, the woman tiptoed over to the bed and tapped the Italian's arm. Look, mister, she said, I don't know you, you don't know me, but that couch is impossible to sleep on. Could I just sleep here, at the edge of the bed? Okay, said the Italian. Use the edge of the bed. The woman lay down on the bed, but after a few minutes, she felt cold. Again, she tapped on the Italian. Look, mister, she said, I don't know you and you don't know me, but it's very cold out here. Could I just get under the cover with you? Okay, said the Italian. Get under the cover. The woman snuggled under, but the closeness of a male body stirred her, and she started to feel a little horny. Again, she tapped the Italian. Look, mister, she said, I don't know you, you don't know me, but how about having a little party? Exasperated, the Italian bolted up in the bed. Look, lady, he hollered, I don't know you, you don't know me, in the middle of the night. Who we going to invite to a party? But this is how it goes. You don't know me and I don't know you. It is just accidental. Needs are there. People feel lonely. They need someone to fill their loneliness. They call it love. They show love because that is the only way to look and to hook the other. The other also calls it love because that is the only way to hook you. But who knows whether there is love or not? In fact, love is just a game. And yes, there is a possibility of a real love. But that happens only when you don't need anybody. That's the difficulty. It is the same way banks function. If you go to a bank and you need money, they will not give you any. If you don't need money, you have enough. They will come to you, and they will always be ready to give you some. When you don't need, they are ready to give you. When you need, they are not ready to give you. When you don't need a person at all, when you are totally sufficient unto yourself, when you can be alone and tremendously happy and ecstatic, then love is possible. But then, too, you cannot be certain whether the other's love is real or not. You can be certain about only one thing, whether your love is real. How can you be certain about the other? But then there is no need. This continuous anxiety about whether the other's love is real or not simply shows one thing, that your love is not real. Otherwise, who bothers? Why be worried about it? Enjoy it while it lasts. Be together while you can be together. It is a fiction, but we need a fiction. Nietzsche used to say that man is much that he cannot live without lies. He cannot live with truth. Truth will be too much to bear. You need lies. Lies, in a subtle way, lubricate your system. They are lubricants. You see a woman, you say, how beautiful. I have never come across such a beautiful person. These are just lubricants, lubricating lies, and you know it. You have said the same thing to other women before. And you know, you will say the same thing again to other women in the future. And the woman also says that you are the only person who has ever attracted her. These are lies. Behind these lies, there is nothing but need. You want the woman to be with you, to fill your inner hole. You want to stuff that inner emptiness with her presence. She also wants that. You are trying to use each other as a means. That's why lovers, so-called lovers, are always in conflict, because nobody wants to be used. Because when you use a person, the person becomes a thing. You have reduced him or her to a commodity. And every woman feels, after making love to a man, a little sad, deceived, cheated, because the man turns over and goes to sleep. Finished is finished. Many women have told me that they cry and weep after the man has made love to them. Because after making love, he is no longer interested. His interest was only for a particular need. Then he turns over and goes to sleep. He is not even bothered about what has happened to the woman. And men also feel cheated. They, by and by, start suspecting that the woman loves them for something else, for money, power, security. The interest may be economical, but it is not love. But it is true. This is how it can be. Only this is how it can be. The way you are, living almost asleep, moving in a stupor. Somnambulistic way it is possible. But don't be worried about it. Whether the woman loves you, well, you will need somebody's, even if it is false. Enjoy. Don't create anxiety, and try to become more and more awake. One day, when you are really awake, you will be able to love. But then, you will be certain about your love only. But that's enough. Who bothers? Because right now, you want to use others when you are really blissful on your own. You don't want to use anybody when you're really blissful on your own. You simply want to share. You have so much, and so much is overflowing, and you would like somebody to share it. And you will feel thankful that somebody was ready to receive. Finished. That is the end of it. Right now, you are worried too much whether the other loves you. Really, because you are not certain about your own love. That's one thing. And you are not certain about your own worth. You cannot believe that somebody can really love you. You don't see anything in yourself. You cannot love yourself. How can somebody else love you? It seems unreal. It seems impossible. Do you love yourself? You have not even asked the question. People hate themselves. People condemn themselves. They go on condemning. They go on thinking that they are rotten. How can the other love you, such a rotten person? And no, nobody can love you really. The other must be fooling, cheating. There must be some other reason. She must be after something else. He must be after something else. And this is how, when you look at this, and not in judgment, because we all experience this. None of us are exempt. It doesn't mean stand it, negative. It is being able to comprehend. So there's a lot of people that know their rottenness, worthlessness. Lover seems to be out of the question, right? Love seems to be out of the question. And when some woman comes and says, right, or a man, either way, and says to you, you cannot trust. When you go to a woman and you say you adore her and she hates herself, how can she believe you? It's self-hatred that is creating the anxiety. There is no way to be certain about the other. First, be certain about yourself. And the person who is certain about themselves is certain about the whole world. A certainty achieved at your innermost core becomes a certainty, everything that you do and everything that happens to you. Centered, grounded in yourself, never worry about it. You accept. You accept it because you are somebody else is happy. It does not get your head. It does not make you egotistic. You simply enjoy yourself. Somebody else also finds you enjoyable. Good. While it lasts, live the fiction as beautifully as possible. It will not last forever. That too creates a problem. When love is finished, you start thinking it was false. That's why it has come to an end. And no, not necessarily. May have had some in it, but you were unable to keep, and you killed it. There. You were, but you were not capable. So you meet a woman very well, very fantastic, beautifully. Have settled, getting a bit south. The more conflict that kills. In perspective, every love has in the destroy that. They give light with all darknesses within. They jump on it, they destroy it. When it is, think it was false. You've probably heard these arguments. You must have never loved me anyway. They had killed it. It was not their fault. The rule was real, true. So don't be worried about the other. Don't be worried whether the love is real or not. While it is there, enjoy it. Even if it is a dream. It's good to dream about it and become more and more alert and aware so sleep is dropped. When you are aware, a totally different kind of love will arise in your heart, which is absolutely true, which is part of eternity. But that is not a need, it is a luxury. If the jealousies, the possessiveness, the attachment, the needs, and expectation, and desires, visions drop, will anything be of my love? Has all my been a lie? Love pain had more to do with than with love. Will I earn? Love cannot be learned. It cannot be cultivated. The cultivated love will not be love at all. It will not be a rose. It will be a plastic flower. When you learn something, it means something comes from the outside. It is not an inner growth, and love has to be your inner growth if it is to be authentic and real. Love is not a learning, but a growth. All that is needed on any of our part is not to learn the ways of love, but to unlearn the ways of unlove. The hindrances have to be removed. The obstacles have to be destroyed. Then love is your natural, spontaneous being. Once the obstacles are removed, the rocks thrown away, the flow starts. It is ready. It is already there, hidden behind many rocks, but the spring is already there. It is your very being. It is a gift, but not something that is going to happen in the future. It is a gift that has already happened with your birth. To be is to be love. To be able to breathe is enough to be able to love. Love is like breathing. What breathing is to the physical body, love is to the spiritual being. Without breathing, the body dies. Without love, the soul dies. So the first thing to remember, it is not something that you can learn. And if you learn, you will miss the whole point. You will learn something else in the name of love. It will be pseudo false, and the false coin can look like the real coin. If you don't know the real, the fake or false can go on deceiving you. Only by knowing the real will you be able to see the distinction between the false and the real. And these are the obstacles, jealousies, possessiveness, attachment, expectations, desires, and your fear is right. If all these disappear, will anything be left of my love? If all this disappears, will anything be left of my love? Of your love? Love will be left. But love has nothing to do with I or you. In fact, when all possessiveness, all jealousies, all expectations disappear, love does not disappear. You disappear. The ego disappears. There are the shadows of the ego. These are the shadows of the ego. It is not love that is jealous. Watch, look, observe again. When you feel jealous, it is not love that feels jealous. Love has never known anything of jealousy, just as the sun has never known anything of darkness. Love has never known anything of jealousy. It is the ego that feels hurt. It is the ego that feels competitive and a constant struggle. It is the ego that is ambitious and wants to be higher than others, wants to be somebody special. It is the ego that starts feeling jealous, possessive, because the ego can exist only with possessions. And the more you possess, the more the ego is strengthened. Without possessions, the ego cannot exist. It leans on possessions. It depends on possessions. So if you have more money, more power, more prestige, a beautiful woman, a beautiful man, beautiful children, the ego feels immensely nourished. When possessions disappear, when you don't possess anything at all, you will not find the ego inside. There will be nobody who can say, I. And if you think this is your love, then certainly your love will also disappear. Your love is not really love. It is jealousy, possessiveness, hatred, anger, violence. It is 1,001 things except love. It masquerades as love. Because all these things are so ugly, they cannot exist without a mask. An ancient parable. The world was created. God was sending every day new things to the world. One day he sent beauty and ugliness to the world. It is a long journey from paradise to the earth. The moment they arrived, it was early morning. The sun was just rising. They landed near a lake, and both decided to have a bath because their whole bodies, their clothes, were so full of dust. Not knowing the ways of the world, they are so new, they take their clothes off, utterly naked. They jump into the cool water of the lake. The sun is rising. People start coming. Ugliness plays a trick. When beauty goes swimming far away into the lake, ugliness comes up on the bank, puts on the garments of beauty, and escapes. By the time beauty becomes aware that people are arriving, and I am naked, and she looks around, her clothes are gone, ugliness is gone, and beauty is standing naked in the sun. And the crowd is coming closer. Finding no other way, she puts on the clothes of ugliness and goes in search of ugliness so that the clothes can be changed. The story says she is still looking, but ugliness is cunning and goes on escaping. Ugliness is still in the clothes of beauty. Mask is beauty. And beauty is moving in the clothes of ugliness. It is a tremendously beautiful parable. All these things are so ugly that you cannot tolerate to be with them, even for a single moment, if you see their reality. So they don't allow you to see the reality. Jealousy pretends to be love. Possessiveness creates a mask of love. And then you are at ease. You are not fooling anybody else but yourself. These things are not love. So what you know is love. What you have known up to now is love will disappear. It has nothing of poetry in it. And yes, passion is there. Passion is a feverish state. Passion is an unconscious state. Passion is not poetry. The poetry is known only by the Buddhas. The poetry of life. The poetry of existence. Excitement, fever, are not ecstasies. They look alike. That is the problem. In life, many things look alike, and the distinctions are very delicate, fine, and so. Excitement can look like ecstasy. It is not, because ecstasy is basically cool. Passion is hot. Love is cool. Not cold, but cool. Hatred is cold. Passion, lust are hot. Love is exactly in the middle. It is cool, neither cold nor hot. It is a state of tremendous tranquility, calmness, serenity, silence. And out of that silence is poetry. Out of that silence is song. Out of that silence arises a dance of your being. When you call poetry and passion are nothing but lies with beautiful facades. Out of your 100 poets, 99 out of the 100, 99 are really poets, but only people in a state of turmoil, emotion, passion, heat, lust, sexuality, sensuality. Only one out of your 100 poets is a real poet. And the real poet may never compose any poetry because his whole being is poetry. The way he walks, the way he sits, the way he eats, the way he sleeps is all poetry. He exists as poetry. He may create poetry. He may not create poetry. That is irrelevant. But what you call poetry is nothing but the expression of your fever, of your heated state of consciousness. It is a state of insanity. Passion is insane, blind, unconscious, because it gives you the feeling as if it is love. Love is possible only when meditation has happened. In meditation, we look to connect with the God that we are within the body by being silent. That is love. If you don't know how to be centered in your being, if you don't know how to rest and relax in your being, if you don't know how to be utterly alone and blissful, you will never know what love is. Love appears as relationship. It begins in deep solitude. Love expresses as relating, but the source of love is not in relating. The source of love is in meditating. When you are absolutely happy in your aloneness, when you don't need the other at all, when the other is not a need, then you are capable of love. If the other is your need, you can only exploit, manipulate, dominate, but you cannot love. Join in meditation, and I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose, and an easy and slow breath out of the mouth. Be still. Really relax today. Breathe in the affirmation, I am safe, I am loved, all is well in my world. Let these words sink deep into your body. Stay silent, yet in the flow. Allow any calming energy to grow and spread throughout your body. The easiness of being absorbs each thought that arises in the mind. Take this with you the rest of the day, evening, night, and tomorrow morning. We will return here tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern to continue our Time for Change call. And Thursday, October 13th, 2022, 3 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation